Welcome back, everyone, to Turn to Page. Today, we are not doing a reaction. Today, we are finally going to talk about a book for this podcast. I am David. With me, as always, is
Alexis.
Mm-hmm. And today, we're going to talk about The Maid by Nita Prose. Before we do that, Ale, do you have anything to talk about? Any books you've read?
I did. I read two.
Nice. I read none.
Oh my god. Actually, hold on. Let me pull them up because I was not prepared. I forgot.
That's fine. Well, I'm trying to read what was it? The Last Fallen Moon. I mentioned it before. I think I mentioned it, yeah. The Last Fallen Star. This one's a sequel. I'm only like 10 pages in still. But what I liked so far though in those pages, I completely forgot what happened in the first book. In those first 10 pages, basically explaining what happened in those, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, that did happen. Okay, wait, which character? I think I got an idea who it is now. Just like the way she's explaining it. So like that was usually like if it was any other book, I would be like, we don't need this, like whatever. But like I said, I completely forgot the first book, so it was really good that was added in.
The ones that I've read is by an author that I've mentioned before, Stephanie Archer. It's like her next series. One is called Behind the Net, and then the second one is called The Fake Out. They're both hockey romance books. And they're pretty cute. I mean, I feel like all the books that I read are kind of the same. But like that's also me finding comfort in no change. But they're cute. This time it's sisters, so that's kind of cool. And both of the guys like saw them in high school or knew about them in high school and have been like fawning over them since then. And then like all of the characters have some type of trauma, family trauma. But it was cute. I enjoyed it. Them.
That's cool. Was it the first book, or didn't you see it too?
Yeah, The Fake Out and Behind the Net.
Oh, my bad. I thought I didn't. My bad. Cool. Yeah, I will see how far I get into Last Fallen Moon for the next one. But yeah, The Maid. This came out last year, or was it the year before?
I think it was. I had it up. Hold on, it's right here. It came out in 2022.
2022. Oh, okay.
Wait. Yes, 2022.
Okay, so technically 2 years ago now. But yeah, you were the one that told me about this. I think we were just in Barnes and Noble, and you were like, "We gotta read this one," and all that. Oh yeah, I have the book. Right there. Cool.
I did. I remember. Somebody had told me what it was about, and they told me that the main character was neurodivergent, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And I think I like wanted to read it like for a whole like year, and then we finally got it. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, quick thoughts about it. This was a really I listened to the audiobook. This is a really quick listen, especially at 1.5 speed. But I mean, I will say though, like it really did catch my attention. Everything about it, I really liked the main character, Molly, and I enjoyed some of the other characters. The vibe that I was kind of getting, I haven't seen the show, but like I was kind of thinking of Only Murders in the Building, basically.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
This basically
I haven't seen the show though, so I wouldn't really know.
The trailer though gives you like exactly what you like. The trailer shows you exactly what the show is. So I feel like you can just kind of get an idea how it is. And basically, I was just thinking of like comedy throughout this whole book. I don't know. Some people were really thinking of like making it kind of serious, taking it kind of seriously with the whole murder mystery, which I mean, I understand, but at the same time,
yeah. I actually, because I finished it, I just needed the last chapter before I got home today, and I actually kind of thought I think you've seen it. I don't know if you haven't seen it. But do you remember the movie Amelie?
Yeah.
That's what I think of
Okay.
when I think of this character. And I mean, obviously, like it's a mystery book, so it's a little bit more serious, but
Mm-hmm.
that's just kind of the vibes that I got.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, just basically like how I was thinking of like as this book was going along, my mind just kept going like, how would this be shot in the movie? Which it is being made to a movie,
It
right?
is.
On Netflix.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, but basically, like, if you watch Amelie for sure, just watch the beginning of Amelie and you'll understand
Mhm.
like what we're talking about as to how we're thinking about how this whole story would go down and everything. And so yeah, it was a really interesting read, especially because I mentioned it to you. I was playing video games as I was listening to the audiobook, but like the fact that like I could remember pretty much everything that was going on and just knowing.
Yeah, like it was yeah, I was
Mhm.
really into it the whole time because
Yeah,
I also listened to it and um because like I listened to half of the last book that we talked about,
hmm,
and that one like I would have to kind of go back and either reread or re-listen, but this one it was just like one straight shot and I
for sure.
yeah, paid attention to everything.
Yeah, the last one we talked about was Hex, and yeah, we mentioned it before. We were having trouble really remembering all the characters, at least like in terms of like which character is which. Like this one, we're always gonna forget character names. Like we'll just never remember them, but we'll know like okay, this one's like the love interest, I guess you can say, or this one's the wife. This one's the best friend. Like we'll know which character is which. Hex can't tell you. Honestly, I just know the dad, basically, which is
Yeah.
kind of like the main character, I guess you could say, of the story. That's really all I remember. Cool read, but it's just not something I'll probably go back. So, but yeah, overall, I still think I forgot to put on my Goodreads. Um, what would I put it? I think I put it like 4 stars or something at the very least, just because as much as I enjoyed it, there's something about it that didn't make me love it.
Okay.
That always happens to me. What was it? I saw Gran Turismo. I gave it like 4.5. Because I was like, okay, you did a great job in terms of like editing, cinematography, and all that stuff. But there was something about it that just didn't make me love it. Sorry. Um, so yeah, that happens a lot with me. Yeah. So, any other thoughts? Or just okay? We can get into spoilers. So, for anyone who doesn't know, this is basically the back of the book. A dead body is one mess she can't clean up on her own. I like that. Molly Gray is not like everyone else. She struggles with social skills and often misreads people's intentions. But no matter, she still throws herself with gusto into her work as a hotel maid at the 5-star Regency Grand. Her obsessive love for cleaning and proper etiquette makes her an ideal fit for the job. She delights in donning her crisp uniform each morning, stocking her cart with miniature soaps, and returning guest rooms as a state of perfection. But Molly's elderly life is upended the day she enters the suite of the infamous and wealthy Charles Black, only to find Mr. Black dead, very dead, in his bed. Perplexed by Molly's unusual behavior, the police immediately suspect her of murder. She's soon caught in the web of deception with no idea how to untangle herself. Unfortunately for Molly, her friends she never knew she had. Sorry.
Oh my god. David.
Fortunately for Molly, friends she never knew she had join her in the search for clues about what really happened to Mr. Black. But will they be able to find the real killer before it's too late? Sorry about that. I was just like, something. Anyway, yeah, that is a summary of it. And yeah, I mean, like basically what the summary here stated, Molly is someone who very much loves her job, loves to leave it perfect, everything that she does. And in the beginning, yeah, I really liked going into her mindset on stuff. It was just kind of like it was just all clean, 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 clean. And the way she like talks about her coworkers, as I actually kind of found it kind of funny because she's just like, they ain't good maids. I don't like
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, like that's her way of insulting them. Just
Hmm.
like they don't know how to do their job.
Yeah, for sure.
I really like the way that the author wrote her. I mean, everything is kind of said through her, but the way that she speaks in the book, very like,
Just to the point.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
like I wouldn't say like blunt, but just like it like proper too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just made me laugh sometimes,
Yeah.
but like not at her, with
Mm-hmm.
her.
Yeah. Proper. You mentioned. Yeah. Basically, one character there is Gran. That's literally all her name is, Gran. I noticed that in when I was looking up the characters. I was like, wait, did we not hear her name at all? But yeah, Gran, basically she's the one that raised her. We find out that Molly's parents just no, Molly's mom up and left her. I don't think she ever even knew her dad. But it was the grandma that raised her and tried to basically teach her how to be around others, basically how to
Kind
proper.
of cope with the world around her, um, because she knows that she's different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so her grandma kind of encouraged her to like um kind of live every day the way that she wants to, but like as a coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm. Gran, very important. But we'll get back to her in a bit. We have other characters. Basically, let me see. Let me put this up. She has a couple of friends at work. I think she said Sunita. I probably said that wrong. And Giselle. They weren't really in it for long. She was kind of like, I have these ones that are like kind of nice. They do their job well, and I like them. And so yeah, basically just kind of the beginning part of it was just her daily life, I guess you could say, in the hotel. And one day she just goes into one room, which was the summary, the summary said, Mr. Black's room. She goes in and just finds him dead. I did like her reaction. Basically, she's just like, oh, and just
Oh.
calls him and is like, hey, tell who's the manager? Doorman. Right here, Mr. Snow. Hey, tell Mr. Snow, Mr. Black is what was her words? It was like permanently
Oh, yeah.
undisposed. And the woman on the phone is just like, what do you mean permanently undisposed? He's dead. Very, very dead. Call Mr. Snow. And call the police too. And so yeah, that's basically kicks off the whole investigation. Like I said, beginning it was just her daily life, loves her job, doesn't like her coworkers. Mentions
Yeah.
one that like steals her tips, which is like the fuck.
That's her manager, I think.
Oh, like yeah, like the maid manager, basically. Not the, yeah, so screw her. Yeah, so then cops arrive and they, regular investigation. They question her and all that, and because of how she is, it doesn't go over well.
Yes. And
Rose.
I like this part also, that like on the outside everybody kind of sees how she's reacting and like how she's acting towards others, and everybody kind of thinks that like because she is having no reaction that it's not affecting her, which
Mm-hmm.
like is a reason why events happen later on,
Mm-hmm.
because she's just very like neutral,
Mm-hmm.
and like they'll ask her like if she's okay, if she needs to go home, and she's just like, why would I need to go home?
Yeah, yeah. Especially when she mentioned when
There's so
the
much to do, there's so much to clean,
yeah.
basically.
Mm-hmm. I forgot to mention her grand died. This is like
I think at
months after her
uh-huh.
death. But she mentions too that when her grand died, she went to work and her boss, I think it was Mr. Snow, who was like, "Why are you here?" And she's
Hmm.
like, "I have to work." It's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, but your grand just died." She's like, "Yeah." Like, and then she moves on basically. But actually, and also do love those moments though where she really doesn't understand like what people are saying around her, and then when she finally does, and it hurts her sometimes because she remember in the beginning she said that some of her coworkers call her a Roomba, and
Oh
she had no
yeah.
idea what that was, and it was I think it was Giselle. This was like way later on. Yeah, Giselle, guess yeah, Black's Charles Black's second wife. She was the one that told her like, oh, they're insulting you. They're calling you that machine thing that cleans up floors and all that.
The vacuum.
Yeah, and I think she mentions like she had like a tear coming down her eye and all that. I was like,
I
it's
know.
mm-hmm.
People were so mean to her.
For sure.
But you also get that side of like the author kind of, she like, even though she may not understand why other people are reacting that way to her because she's reacting that way, she does feel anxiety about what happened. She does feel anxiety about finding a dead body in the room. You know, she just doesn't know how to process it, and she doesn't understand like social cues and um like just how one should react to things. But
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, like that's her way of reacting, you know.
Yeah, and I
And
mean it's also understandable for at least the cop side of it. I never got the name actually. I think she was here. Landlord, lawyer, Detective Stark. Also Stark, really? That's kind basically, she was the one that questioned her, and I think in the beginning it was just pretty normal, standard stuff like how'd you find him, what'd you do, and all that blah blah blah. Like, I think she might have asked him like, do you often clean his place, his room, and all that? She's like, yeah, all the time, whatever. The minute it turns, it was when, oh, I can't remember what it was exactly, or like the line, I mean, but the detective said something, and Molly remembered a joke, and she started like smiling, and the detective was like, "What's so funny?" She's like, "Oh,
yeah,
nothing." And, like she just remembered a joke, and all that. I understand the detective being like, "You're not acting normal here, like really, and you're smiling and all that." But a part of me is kind of like, I mean, she just kind of saw something traumatic in her point of view, like kind of
yeah.
give her some credit. I don't know. And people do laugh at awkward situations like that. Just
Me.
yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, I never told you this, but working in the grocery store, I actually like got people kind of mad at me when I would laugh at certain situation, just because like I don't know, I don't know what to do here, you know.
Okay.
I wish I could tell you like what exactly it was, but I'm just kind of like, I didn't mean it that way. I don't know. It was weird, but yeah, it happens. Just kind of have to roll with it. Just explain yourself, you know, roll with it, but also keep calm about it, at least for the people on the other end of it. Yeah. So that sucked. And what happened afterwards? I think she went
They
home.
kind of just go on about their day. You mentioned Giselle, which is the wife, the current wife of the deceased man.
So yeah, I mean we can just go through some of the other characters. Giselle, second wife, and pretty much the only one that like understands. I think she understands.
She's she knows that like she's different. That Molly is different, and so they're the guy that died and then Giselle are I don't know. I never really understood if they lived there. I don't think so though. I think they just stayed there like often.
Yeah.
And Molly was the one that went to clean their room all the time. And so her and Giselle became friends more so towards on Molly's side because she was like the only one that was nice to her.
You mean Giselle saw Molly as a friend?
No, Molly saw Giselle as more of a friend, her only friend, her best friend.
Okay.
And Giselle was just like kind to her. Like she didn't make fun of her. She understood, like, you know.
She misses social cues and all that and helps her explain and teaches her.
And she would help her understand like what other people meant or just
what she should do in
to read the room.
Yeah.
Basically. Which like obviously Molly really appreciated, even though she like didn't understand either. Like you know?
Yeah.
And so Giselle confided in Molly a lot as well, and so she told her a lot of things about their relationship, and um she didn't really tell her, but she kind of Molly found out that like the husband was not that nice to Giselle.
Mm-hmm.
Um and Molly just kind of like, I mean, she didn't do anything, but she was just like you shouldn't be here type of thing. Like you deserve better kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, it was a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I like that scene a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I like their scenes together for sure. Except for this one moment later on, which we'll
Yes.
get to it. But also, I think I just realized something. I think I might have messed up on someone's name. Did I? The names of the two other maids who like are kind of her close friends. Who did I say they were? Do you remember the names?
No.
Okay, because I know I said Sunita, but I don't know if I said the second name correctly. Because the second name is Sunshine. It's Sunshine and Sunita. Those are like her two other friends basically at
Mhm.
work. I don't know if I said Giselle. It was the other
I
maid or
think you
something.
said Giselle.
I think so too. I'm looking at the name. I'm like, wait a minute. I never said Sunshine. Crap. So if anyone's confused right now, sorry about that. Sunita and Sunshine are the other two other maids that are friends with Molly. Cherry Green is the head maid of the Regency Grand. That's the one that steals her tips.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Sherry. You said
Sherry.
cherry.
What's
Sherry.
is that how they said it in the audiobook?
Yes.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, whatever. Uh, yes, and then other characters. There's Rodney Styles, head bartender at the hotel. That's
Mhm.
the troublesome dude, right?
Well, he'll come up later on.
Yeah, but basically, Molly has like a big crush on him. That's the
Yes.
one, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. She has a big crush on him. She tries to flirt with him. Doesn't work out sometimes and all that, but
In her mind, she does.
in
It
her
does.
mind, she does. Yes. uh,
Um. So, anyways, continuing on. So when Molly was at the station, um, the cop did ask if she was friends with Giselle, because obviously, like, that's the wife and that's the first person that they're gonna go to
mhm.
when a husband is dead. Um, but Molly, in order to protect Giselle, was like, nope,
Mhm.
nope. I just cleaned her room. Um, and then they kind of find out that they were friends,
Mhm.
like kind of pretty close, which gets her in trouble. And then in between all of that, Giselle does go visit Molly at her house. Um, and she tells her like, no, thank you for like telling them that we don't know each other, that it wasn't her, um, and that she just like kind of like didn't know what to do,
Mhm.
and she was like freaking out. And so Molly tried to like be there for her as much as she could.
Mhm.
And Giselle ends up asking Molly for like a big favor, which is that Giselle had like a gun in the room, and for her to go and hide it because she didn't want the cops to think that she did something.
Mhm.
Um so of course Molly is like freaking out internally. Um and also in between all this, that guy that we mentioned, Rodney, who, yes, Molly is like in love with him. Um he starts like asking her a bunch of questions about like what the cops had told her, if they had mentioned him,
Mhm.
which you start kind of being suspicious about it.
Mhm.
And he invites Molly out to go eat, and then Molly takes it as like their first date.
They go to Olive Garden.
To Olive Garden, of
Yes,
course.
I love that bit. It just says it's her favorite restaurant,
I
and dude,
know.
I got so happy when she said, "I always ordered the tourability," which I was like, "Yes, that's a great dish." It's either that one for me or the what was it, chicken
She's
and
like, of
shrimp.
course.
Yeah, it's like why wouldn't you get that? It's literally everything in one plate. I mean, come on, people.
She's so funny.
I love that.
um But yeah, the whole time, you get like weird vibes from this guy. Like you could tell that he just kind of like he's not mean to her, but like you could tell that like what it means to her is not what it means to
Mm-hmm.
him. Which like is not bad either, but it's just kind of like, hmm,
Yeah.
suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like, he still does like is aware that she is different and the way that she interacts with people is different. So she might, I think that he might have like an idea that she may think that it's a little bit more and he's just kind of taking advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that kind of sucks. um, but yeah, so back to the mystery part.
Mm-hmm.
So, Giselle is in a little bit of a pickle ever since her grandma passed away. She has
Giselle.
had, sorry, Molly.
Mm-hmm.
She's had like a lot of money issues and stuff,
Yeah.
and so, she ends up finding, I don't know if it was Giselle's ring or a ring in the room, and when she went to go get the gun, and she ends up like selling the ring for
Yeah.
money,
Mm.
and that kind of gets her into more trouble.
For sure. The Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember now how it all led to it. But yeah, the money trouble though, that was from Wilbur. Uh, basically,
Her
she
ex-boyfriend.
ex-boyfriend. She dated him, but who knows how long. For sure, it was when her grand was alive, and at first it was nice and all. They met at college and all and everything. And as they kept kept dating and all, things started to get weird between them. Mostly Wilbur was kind of just distant, I guess you can say, from her. And at one point he was like really into her, and it was because he got information about her
Mm-hmm.
bank information. And both Molly and Gran made like some kind of savings account. I can't, what was it called? They had a name for it.
Yeah, they did. I don't remember.
Mm. Yeah,
But it was like a savings
yeah,
account.
yeah. It was a
And
savings account, a whole lot of money on it. Before Grant died, she said that that money in there should last about 2 years for rent. Basically, like you know, just think of your own rent. I guess a lot
mm-hmm.
for sure. And so, but Wilbur took it, and there was nothing. Molly, I like this. Molly hid it from her grandma. She never knew that it was stolen. She thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna be gone. She's gonna be fine for a
Yeah.
bit, and all that. And it's like, nah, she's struggling.
Yeah.
um,
And that's what I'm saying, that like she may not react how people expect her to react, but like she still understands like
mhm.
right from wrong, and like um like she
Yeah,
still understands that when she feels uneasy is because it's like something bad is happening,
yeah. And even though like we're hearing her mind basically, her justification of stealing the ring and everything and all that, you might find it bad, but it's also not that different from any other person in her situation. Like you can judge her for it. That's completely fine and all. But again, her situation is no different from anyone else's. Her thought process is no different from anyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
But that's sort of the big thing towards the
There's
end.
a line that her grandma, well, not a line, like a thing that her grandma tells her, which I really liked, was everybody is the same but different.
Mm-hmm.
um and that's just kind of like what the story does. Like everything that she did, like anybody else would have done.
Mm-hmm.
It's just her process was different.
And she's the main suspect because she's not showing it
Mm-hmm.
as anyone else would.
Yeah.
Even
Well,
though
that,
she.
and because they did find out about the gun, and they found out that she
Oh yeah, the
sold the
evidence
ring.
against her was like very.
It's
It was very
suspicious.
much against her for sure. Yeah, the gun she had, which I don't know. Thinking about it though, would it have? Nah.
She hid it in her cart, and
No, I was gonna say like if they found the gun, would it have mattered for Giselle much? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
I mean,
because like I can understand if they find it and they go, "Oh, did you ever feel threatened about like towards your husband and all that?" And I mean, she can say like, I'm bruised up and all that. That her one defense. I don't know where she was during that time.
mhm.
Um, so that's kind of hard to say, but that's just one thing. I don't know if um if it's bad in the for the story and all that, but like I feel like Giselle would have been fine maybe whether they found it or not, because again she probably would have had an alibi.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just sucks that Molly was the one to find
Yeah.
it, and then she told the bartender dude, forgot his name already.
Rodney.
Rodney. She told him about that. She told him something else. I think it might have
I
been
think
just
she
that
told him
Giselle.
about the ring too. And
Yes,
about Giselle, yeah. She told them about
Giselle,
Giselle.
the ring.
That uh-huh.
She was like, "Yeah, I stole it and I pawned it off. Can you buy it so that they don't find it there or anything like that?
Mhm.
And then I'll pay you
He
back
was
whenever I
like, "Yeah,
can."
yeah, I got you. I
Yeah,
got you."
that's the one part. That's the one moment where I was really like, no. But like, I also find it really funny because he was probably like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It does. And like in my mind, he's like very excited, like I will help you for sure, no
Mhm.
problem. And then,
Cuz
but
he
screws
says
her
something
over.
too. He says something like oh, like reacting like surprised but kind of like this like evil smile type of way.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So it sucks, but like I also find it kind of funny just because I was like, damn, this is gonna go over so horribly.
Yeah.
So yeah, the evidence was against her for sure. Oh, and then the biggest one was the other mates saying like, no, we have always seen her and Giselle like interact and everything.
Mhm.
They seem good buddies and all
Well,
that.
the her manager was the one that went to the cops and told them that her and Giselle were really good friends.
Mm,
Um, because that lady always wanted to be in that room because she knew that Molly would get big tips from them,
hmm.
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's when the cops came and they started like looking at her more and they found out again about the gun, about the ring, about Giselle. And they were like, bruh, like you've been lying this whole time. Like
Hmm.
um and so they arrest Molly. Um
And
that
she
that whole that whole scene was kind of funny to me because she what because when the cop showed up, Molly fainted, but when they took her to the cell, she was like asking for her phone. She was like asking for all these things, and then the cop just kept telling her like, "Your phone's right here. You told me to lock up.
yeah.
Like it's fine. You're fine." Like she was like halfway in and out, and she
Hmm.
was telling her like in like a straight face, kind of like, um, "Lock my door. Take
Mm.
my phone." Like
Yeah,
like being
yeah.
so like orderly.
Yeah, or I'm very curious how that one's gonna be filled. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're just gonna skip it over or something. I don't know. Well, actually, that could be the comedic way of just being like, "What about this?" It's like it's right here. I don't know. Just like kind of cut to the table. It's like right here. Here's your phone. It's like here's this. Tell me this, and maybe click flashback to her or something. I don't know. But yeah, I completely forgot about that. That was funny. Um, Basically, like she blacked out but was still conscious, I guess, and
Yeah.
was like telling her certain things. Like she knew what, I guess maybe what to prepare for or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just kind of weird, but it was also kind of funny. Um, and she uses the show,
Oh
that she
yeah,
would
Columbo.
Columbo, that show she would always watch with her mom, grandma, and she used that to be like, I want to
What's
call my
yeah,
lawyer and all
like
that.
what's next? Like what do I need to do next? That was
Yeah.
like her one source of like knowledge into
Hmm.
not being accused of murder.
Yeah. um.
But yeah, so she ends up in the jail cell and she ends up calling this the doorman at the hotel who's really good friends with her or was really good friends with her grandma who ended up is the one that got her the job. Um
It was the
uh,
doorman.
it was the doorman.
Oh, I thought it was the hotel manager.
No. um
Oh,
and
Okay,
Yes.
I remember the name now, Mr. Preston.
Yes. And so the doorman ends up having a daughter who's a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
and because like the cop, like she was being like a bitch to her, but
Yeah, she was very much like she was ready to lock her up, throw away
yeah,
the key type of thing.
uh-huh. I felt like in the beginning she kind of did disappoint me because in the beginning I thought that she was like just doing her job, but then she started like once she started like accusing her, she started saying like all the things like you, but about her demeanor. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, like,
Yeah, I mean, again, how would she know? Obviously, um, but for sure, she was like really, really on her
yeah,
about how she was reacting to everything, and she's just like I said, she was instantly like, "You're the one. You're the murderer. Lock
uh-huh,
her up. Throw away the key." Type of
yeah,
thing. But yeah, luckily Mr. Preston showed up, and he was really and basically like telling her off, almost like, "Hey, she is like a really good person. Give her a chance. Like, you know, give us some time to work this all out, or
yeah.
something like that." And yeah, they made bail for her. They paid her like, what was it, like $8,000? I was like, oh my god.
It was a big amount.
Yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, they managed to get her out, and then she tells him. Molly tells them the whole story of like everything that's happened
Hmm.
until then, and the big one was about what's his name? I do not like his name. Juan
Jose,
Manuel.
uh-huh,
Were you about to say Jose?
yeah, Jose Manuel.
Wow. Wow. Okay. No. I'm just kidding.
Well, like it's that much different.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Juan Manuel. I did not like the name. That sounds like, I don't know.
In the audiobook, it sounds they pronounce it weird, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so that one was a little tricky for me to understand.
Mm.
So this guy, he's
Dishwasher.
oh, a dishwasher. Okay. Um what it was when she went to go get the gun, right? That's when she found him and Rodney in the room being
Mm-hmm.
suspicious.
Yeah, they were being suspicious. I can't remember if it was when she was finding the gun or not. It might have been that. But yeah, basically she found them both. Juan was pretty beat up, uh, and we don't know why. But that led to her going on a date with the Rodney. Yeah,
Mhm.
Rodney,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
and part of the date, part of the conversation in the date was that he was trying to explain to her. It's like, oh yeah, I was helping him out. He doesn't have all his papers here. He had to leave his family. He had to leave his family behind, and I was the one that like got him a job here and all that. I'm just trying to help him out. He's been rooming in some of the empty bedrooms in the hotel. Well, he gets picks up some
yeah.
money and all
Mhm.
that. Hopefully, gets his own place. And so basically trying to make himself the good guy here.
Yes.
And when she finds him, she there was two of the guys, basically, I guess you could say the thugs or something, and they were kind of like ready to be like cracking knuckles. It was like,
Yeah.
what do you want us to do with her, huh? Type of thing. And it was Juan that was like, "Oh, she's good. She's good. Like she's not gonna say anything. She can keep secrets and all that. Blah blah blah. Like she can actually help us out." I can remember how it did to her, like cleaning the room,
It was yes, to clean the rooms and then to move the bags to a different room each night.
move bags. You say bags?
Yes.
I don't remember the
Like their
bags.
stuff.
Oh, their stuff. Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
and also
Their
Juan though.
stuff.
Okay. Oh,
Their
okay.
stuff.
Right. I got it now. I don't remember the stuff. But I just remember like Juan was the one that had to like move to a different room each night, and she was the one that whatever room she cleaned that day, that's where Juan was gonna sleep because
Yeah.
it was gonna for sure be empty for the day.
Hmm.
Um. Uh, but yeah, basically, like I think they explained to her like they were trying to clean the room, and she's like, "Well, you didn't do a really good job.
Yeah.
First of all, who the hell ate donuts here?" Because she sees some powdery
Aw,
stuff with
I
fingerprints and
love
all
her.
that. I gotta be honest, I don't remember the bags, but now I get it. I really thought it was donuts or something.
I love her.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, basically she's telling them every little thing that they missed, and they were kind of like, oh dang. And Juan's like, see, she can be useful here. Like, she can help us out. And they're like, all right, cool, fine. Um, and so yeah, she explained that to Juan, and I think it was Preston and his daughter, the ones that were like, oh, Juan's in trouble. Like he's in this whole situation, and we gotta like, hopefully we can get him, and he'll, you know, confess or tell us the whole thing, like what's like actually going on. Um, Before that though, Giselle, what happened to his with Giselle? I know she ran off for sure, and Molly does call her and be like, "Yo, you got me into trouble because of your gun."
No.
Yeah, she does call her though.
Yes, but that's later on.
But I mean, it was around there though. It was
No.
oh, okay, not bad. Okay. Well, they do get Juan though, right? That's for sure.
Who? The
Molly,
cops?
no, Molly, Preston, and the daughter.
Oh, yeah. So Molly's like, I know what you're saying now. I was so lost. So Molly's explaining to them like everything that happened, from when they found the body till that day, which whatever we mentioned had happened already. Um, and so like the kind of like the two missing links were Rodney, because he kept coming up, and Juan Manuel, because why was like what was going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to contact him, um, to see like what's going on, whatever, and he ends up showing up to her house, and he kind of explains that um Rodney was kind of a drug dealer for the murdered guy. Um, and he was getting beaten up by those two guys because they wouldn't let him leave. Juan Manuel had asked Rodney for help because his like visa, I think, or like his like work permit had expired.
Mm.
And so he gave him money because Rodney had said that he knew a guy, whatever. Obviously he didn't. And he took the money and the papers never came, and to repay him, or no, he borrowed money. That's what it was. He
Yeah,
borrowed
that
the
makes more
money.
sense.
Yeah. And in order to pay him back, he had to like help him out with the business.
Mm-hmm.
And so Molly's world kind of like shatters because obviously like she was in love with Rodney and he was just kind of using her, and that's when they find out that the bags were the drugs and they were using Molly as a mule, and she just like didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now that explains who murdered Mr. Black. That's the big thing. It was just
yes.
all of that is just her current circumstance, and hopefully they're trying to get her away from that, basically.
Yes. And I think it was Juan Manuel that tells Molly about Rodney and the wife, aka Giselle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That he saw them like hanging out and kissing one time. And so this also is like another heartbreak for Molly because again, she considered Giselle like her best friend. So she ends up calling Giselle and was like, "You lied to me." Like, and Giselle like apologized, but like Molly was just like, not having it. She wasn't being rude or anything, but she was just like basically like, "We're done. You need to leave." So at that point they had come up with the plan to kind of catch Rodney in the act.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was talking to Giselle, like she kind of was like, "No, like you need to leave, like this is gonna happen, this and that. But like you should get out and like find a better life, I guess," type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And so she does, and they start with like the plan, which
Which is to go to Olive Garden again with Rodney.
uh-huh.
And this one was really cool because she was just like, I ain't gonna take shit from him and
Yeah.
all that. So he's like, so he goes to the restaurant, the waitress comes up to them and she's like, oh, what do you want to start today and all that. And Ronnie's like, oh, just give us some drinks. And like, we're not gonna be here long. But Molly, she was just like, I have this, I have an appetizer, I have pizza, I have and all that, blah blah blah. And he's just, he doesn't react. I don't think he reacts to it much or anything like
But
that.
that's
But
her way of getting back to him.
yeah, basically, she's like, I'm gonna take advantage of this situation, okay? um, and
My
so,
favorite part is um she hates elbows being on the table, and that's her way of like throwing like death stares at him, like get your elbows off the table.
mhm. uh, and so, yeah, I can't remember what she tells him, like what the situation was exactly. I know they brought up Giselle being like, "Oh, I got into this situation."
Oh, it was because she was supposed to get like money when her husband died, and Molly was telling Rodney that the cops had said that she wasn't gonna get anything, that it was all towards the ex-wife and the kids
Mm-hmm.
from the ex-wife. And so Rodney didn't like that because like the whole reason why he was gonna be with her was because of the money. So which is like another reason why they think Rodney did it. Um, and so at that point he's kind of like, basically like in his head, or at least the way that I kind of saw this was like, then why am I with her?
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, so they go to the hotel, they come up with this like elaborate plan to kind of again catch Rodney in the act.
Yeah, but I can't remember what it was exactly like that Molly told him why he had to be the one going into the room. I know one excuse was like the cops were on her and everything, so she really couldn't really be in the hotel at all. The only
Hmm.
thing she can do was like go in, give him a key card, and then he'll have to like move the drugs himself.
Uh-huh.
I think they might have said that she mentioned Juan um to the cops, and he was just like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
uh, that him and that they both talked to each other and they were somehow connected to each other basically and all that. So they had to hurry up and like she had to speak. Oh my gosh, the names. Sorry, she told Rodney that like they had to move whatever was in Juan's room out of the way because cops are going to investigate him at some point. Basically, I think that's basically what it was. I think we got it. Cool. Basically, basically, Rodney, they took him to a room where it's gonna be all the drug is gonna be at, and they're gonna call the cops and catch him red-handed, which they did. I think they said that the drugs basically was like all over his body because he was trying to rush or something.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so yeah, they caught him red-handed. But and that was gonna lead to court. We'll get to that in a second. But once that whole plan was going on, things were kind of looking up. I guess you can say for Molly in a way. She was still on some cops were still on her and everything, but the biggest change though was that she really wasn't alone anymore. That was a big thing
Yeah.
in the book. When her grand died, there was no one else basically by her side, no one else who understood her. Everyone around her just kind of never understood her. It was a struggle.
Yeah.
It was a struggle.
Or would use her.
What user? Yeah. Um,
Take
I like.
advantage.
I love this little detail. Basically, when she in the beginning of the book, when she got home, she goes, "Gran, I'm home." Basically, and
I know.
she says that all the time, even after her death and all that, because it just feels weird that to not say it. Basically, when Mr. Preston and his daughter came, helped her, she had company. She was like, "Hey, you guys," basically, giving them drinks and all that. She was happy with the company. Then when Juan came in, they were hatching up the plan. The plan was going smoothly. The only thing though was Juan didn't have a place to stay. He had to obviously get away from the hotel. She's like, just stay here. And he's like, are you sure? It's like, yeah, I mean, I have the room. I don't really, I don't really mind. And this is one thing that she was being happy about. She had company. She had friends. She never realized like they were friends, because again, she doesn't understand what other people are, how other people's reactions and all that. after her date with Rodney, when they left, she goes, can we, as they bring the food, she goes, can we take this to go? And I gotta get going. And you can give him the receipt. He's like, what?
Oh yeah.
So she takes all the food home, and when she gets home, she says, I'm home. Basically, like, she no longer has to, say hi to her grand.
Yeah.
She can say hi to her friends. And she brought them food. She had company, and it was basically one of the best days of her life.
I know. I love her. And the guy like continued to stay at her house because he just didn't have any place to stay.
Yeah.
And she really enjoyed having him there.
And they spark up a little romance.
Yeah. And so once they arrest Rodney, they kind of go through everything, and they talk to Juan Manuel and get his side of the story. And the cop ends up coming back to her house and like apologizing to her too, which is like another big thing. When the cop leaves, the doorman tells them like she just had to kind of swallow her pride and admit that like she was wrong, which was a good thing to read.
Yeah, for sure. Well, about the like romance between Molly and Juan, I know I was listening it to 1.5 speed, but it was still kind of rushed, but also kind of nice. I don't know, the whole thing. I mean, I like the little details of like why she was slowly liking him. The big one, I think it was he wanted to clean the dishes. He's like, no.
Yeah.
He wanted to clean the dishes. Molly was like, no, it's like it's my home and all that blah blah. It's like, it's my job though. Don't take away my happiness too. Basically, like, he
takes pride in
his own work too, like she does. She what was it? She's like, oh, do you like jigsaw puzzles? And he's like, I love jigsaw puzzles. And
there was a thing because he's from, I think, I forgot what part of the world he said he was from, but he's like from Mexico or something. And obviously the name. But they have like when everybody leaves and it's just them two, she kind of explains to him like, I just like people don't understand me and I don't know how to like interact with other people when they don't understand me and I don't understand them. And he's like, I understand that. Like I get you, And that was like a big thing also where they were like, that's nice.
I'll skip to it, but basically they do start dating later on, and I love this moment where their first kiss was at the Olive Garden, and they were having a fun conversation.
And his elbows weren't on the table.
Yeah, he goes and kisses her, and his elbows never touch the table when he does that, and she's just like, I like this man. He's so nice.
And then there was another part because they cut forward like a few months after that, and she got promoted to manager, and the way that she like is with her coworkers, like when she becomes managers, and is like, come on guys, like we gotta do this, and like so like happy to do her job, and she thinks that everybody else is so happy to be there too, and like she'll leave little gifts in everybody's carts, and like. She's just so cute. But she calls Juan Manuel her new beau, and that she said something like they tell me that he's like my partner now, and then she's like, which is kind of ironic because that leads me to think of Partner in Crimes, which is like funny considering how we started hanging out.
Oh my god. I love that.
She's so cute. I love her.
So yeah, well, before we get to that happy ending, there was also the court trial. Basically, yeah, like we said, Rodney gets caught red-handed with the drugs and all that. They go to court, and the lawyer against her was like, still trying to point the finger at her that she was the one that killed him. And they mentioned what she stated to the cops when they first talked to her, which is that you said you said that you found him, dead on the floor and all that, and then that's pretty much it. You checked his pulse and all that. But now you mentioned though that you saw a figure in the mirror. You saw your reflection, and behind you was someone else. You couldn't tell how they looked like, and you fainted. Why? Like, why'd you tell us that now? Like, why couldn't you tell that in the beginning? She was like, because I was in shock. Like,
no, she says I did. If you go back into your notes, I made a point for the cop to write that down. Then I saw a figure, but I didn't know what it was.
Oh, okay. I'll bet. But I mean, basically, the lawyer though was, howling her on that, basically being like, why, why'd you mention this like later on, all that blah blah blah. Basically just trying to make it seem like she's lying to everyone and all that. And then he points out her reactions to certain moments and everything, and she gives almost like this big speech of like, I just don't process everything like you guys. I wish I can explain to you why. I wish I can explain to you like what exactly is going on in my mind and all that, but I just can't. And this is a struggle for me. And everything. It's a struggle that I can't understand other people's reactions, even though it'll probably be obvious for you. It's a cool moment, although the ending kind of ruins that for me. Just because, it's supposed to be this thing of like, I'm different, okay? I'm sorry, and I can't, like, I would apologize for it, but I can't, and I won't, and all that, basically. Like, that's what the whole speech is about. I'm different. Y'all need to accept that, and just accept the other facts that, like, I am in this situation and all that. The ending, there's an epilogue in the book, and she basically says, you can stretch the truth sometimes. Yes, I found his body. Yes, I checked his pulse. And yes, I saw a figure in the mirror that was behind me.
Yes, I fainted. Yes, I called the lobby.
Yeah, that's actually, I forgot that. She did actually faint, but there was more to it afterwards. And that the person behind her was Mrs. Black, the first wife, before Giselle, obviously. But she basically, like, I guess she, like, Mrs. Black put her to the bed or something, or like at least like have her sit upright, and was like, are you okay? Molly says yes, and basically just have this little conversation. And Molly notices other things, that other bruises, I think, with Mrs. Black. She knew of her situation before the divorce, basically, and so she kind of understood, I'm pretty sure you did what you had to do, basically. And so yeah, so she tells Mrs. Black, like, what did you touch when you went to the room? It's like, oh, a doorknob, the door itself, probably. Basically, and then Molly starts cleaning all that up, getting rid of any evidence. Mrs. Black was able to get out of the hotel without anyone noticing. And yeah, basically, there was more to it than that. And this is one that I'm struggling, like, I don't know how to feel about it. Because again, she gives like this speech in the court trial being like, I'm different, I'm innocent, y'all need to like stop judging me for like how I react, and at least like look at the facts, look at my actions at the very least, or something like that. But then you throw this, and it's kind of like, okay, well, she's smarter than she looks. Because before it was just kind of like, it's not, I'm saying she's dumb or anything, but like, because of her current situation, like, she got into some trouble and all that. But I don't know, it's just
like, for you, it takes away from that speech.
It takes away from that speech. It takes away from, I guess you could say, her innocence, in a sense. That like she, yeah, like I said, like, she's innocent and all this, and she still kind of is in a way. Like, obviously she didn't kill Mr. Black or anything. She wasn't involved in the whole drug muling thing and all that. But I don't know. Again, it's like you kind of take away a little bit of like that innocence in that she kind of knows. She knows right from wrong, and when she knows it's wrong and like is okay with stretching the truth a bit to let that happen, you kind of take away from that, from, again, innocence.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how I feel about that.
I thought it was cool.
I can understand that. It is
No,
cool
yeah, and like
that.
I understand yours too. Like
Mhm.
it does kind of taint it a little bit, but like it's also kind of cool that um she's a very like by the book person,
Mhm.
but in this moment she understood like I need to keep this person safe,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Um which I like.
Mhm. And then there's also this other little thing. I mean, Mr. Black wasn't a good person. Obviously, drug dealer, abuses his wives, beats his wives, and all that. The thing, though, actually, no, never mind. He deserves it. I don't know. He does, because I was gonna mention what happened with Giselle, and that she ended up in some kind of, you know,
Private island type of
private
thing.
island type of thing. Yeah. And she mentioned before to Molly that, she had a prenup with her husband. She wasn't going to get anything if they got divorced and all that. At some point, I think she mentions that Mr. Black wanted to like get out of the whole drug thing and all that. And she was like, "Well, I mean, if you're gonna get out on all that, um, can you at least give me something?" Which
Mhm.
is like basically the private island. Like,
Mhm.
I want something out of this other than just the clothes and
Yeah.
comfort and all that. Like, you know, can you just give me that? And he gets pissed off about it. I think she does say that he beats her, but we find out though that right before he got killed, he did change that in his will. He was kind of like give her something in the end, and so I don't know. That's kind
That
of
was a strange final good act, I
I
guess.
yeah. So it's like kind of like
But then, like, not really, because the whole reason why the ex-wife and him were even together in the same room was because she went to go talk to him because, um, like, the one responsible kid that he has, which is a girl, wants to, like, make the family business better, and he's like, "No."
hmm.
So, I don't know.
He was also I think he might have been on drugs or was drunk or something and was kind of basically calling them both whores.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like you add this bit of like good thing he
Yeah.
did and all that, and we're kind of supposed to be like, yeah, it's okay that she gets away scot free. I don't know. It's just kind of it's kind of confusing. Don't. I don't know. It's just kind of weird to
Yeah.
add those two things and just kind of like breaks it. I don't know. Oh,
Yeah, I get it.
yeah. Um. So yeah, that was the end of Giselle. We mentioned Juan. They're dating, cute couple. I hope they make it cute in the movie. I already want to be like, oh, at the end of it. Oh wow, okay. And then she has a talk with Mr. Preston, and I think they asked him like, why, what she asked him. Molly asked him like, why did you help me so much and all that? And she's like, and he goes, well, I dated your grandma like a long time ago. You
And then
never.
he turns to his daughter and is like, "Yeah, I had a life before you."
Yeah, and basically he mentions like, yeah, we dated a bit, didn't work out. She was also like in love with someone else, but the other guy just she wasn't accepted basically by his family. Um,
Which is weird because she was rich. No,
he was rich.
he wasn't accepted by her family. She was rich. Yes, that's what it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, my
Because
bad.
her parents cut her off,
Okay.
which is why she ended up having to be a maid or like a house cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And Molly saw that as like the best thing in the world
Mm-hmm.
and not a means of survival.
Yeah, and so yeah, and then it's just that didn't work out with between her grandpa basically, and they mentioned that yeah, he's out of his own family, he's happy. I thought he was mentioning himself for a second. I don't know if you got that, but I don't think that's it at all. Uh, but yeah, basically they go into the grandma's backstory and all that, and that was actually really neat. I like that we got more information about the grandma, more than just what Molly
Yeah.
knew of her and all that. And um, yeah, basically, in a sense, he's like her grandpa because he's
Yeah.
takes care of her like his own. I like it. So I hope we get more of him in the second book. Which what's the second book called actually?
It's called the
Oh, the mystery guest, or I don't know.
Mystery Guest.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know if it's like a direct sequel or if it's like a whole like a
I think
Knives Out type of situation.
I know they said like new investigation, but I get a
Uh-huh.
feeling that it is just because the book is pretty much the same as the.
I have no idea. I'm going into this one blind.
Okay. Okay.
So
The mystery guest. Let me see. A Maid novel. So yeah, I think this is a
I
sequel.
made no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was just really cute. I thought it was good.
No, yeah.
I like the mystery. I like that.
Well,
There
it's.
was a plot twist in the end, which was interesting.
I mean, in a
However
sense,
you
it
look at it.
wasn't really much of a mystery. Like, it was really just. How do I say this? Like,
Her trying to prove her innocence.
prove her innocence, I guess. So it's just like a horrible circumstance, basically, and you're basically following this character trying to get away, trying to prove her innocence, get away from it, and all that. So it wasn't much of a mystery, but that's why I liked it. I thought it was interesting. It was really really different from anything else because usually you just the main character is someone being like, "Wait, what's going on here? Like,
Uh-huh.
what's this could have easily been like a comedic book of her being like, someone killed someone, someone murdered. Oh my gosh, I am not saying words right now.
No. This whole time.
There's been a murder in my hotel basically, and I have to investigate. And everyone's just like, you are a maid. Why are you like looking into this? Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? You've ever seen I will not imagine this, but like, what's it called? Oh my gosh, it's that lifeguard movie, the one with Zac Efron and Dwayne Johnson. Do you know which one?
Yes.
Uh,
Baywatch.
Baywatch. Yeah, you got it. Um, that movie basically, they're like investigating some crime going on in their beaches, and everyone's just like, "You guys are lifeguards. You don't do this kind of thing at all." And that was sort of like, I guess, the appeal of the original show is that they actually do investigate things, but like, you're lifeguards.
Yeah.
You don't do this at all. And so it could be that kind of comedy and all that. But no, it wasn't that at all. It was just, again, terrible circumstances, and
Whoa. There was a bug.
no, and her basically coming from a, I guess, closed off person to someone opening up to others. That's basically her character arc, and it was nice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Really quick read, quick listen. It was at 1.5 speed. It was like 6 hours. Regular speed was like 9 hours. And I, like I said, it caught my attention the entire time, even while I was playing video games. So, I mean, that's for sure a good sign for me, at least. I don't know about everyone else.
Yes. I was also doing other stuff, but I did really enjoy it, and I was really into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to read the next one.
For sure. That one will for sure come out by the end of the month, 31st. So, yeah, I think that is it. Actually, wow. Thank
Short
you.
book.
Yeah, very short book. Thank you all for listening. We also have Red Spotlight stuff. What was it? The Golden Globes came out. We put that up already. Not good host. We talked a lot of smack to Joe Coy, sadly. But we enjoyed the winners and all that. I also have Quest Center. I haven't played in a while. I'm I don't know. I've been doing other stuff, And hopefully, by the end of this month too, I'll hopefully have up our reaction to The Little Mermaid, the live action one. So that one I'm really trying to put in like a lot of stuff in it. So hopefully it turns out good. And yeah, that's all other stuff. Again,
Percy Jackson.
oh yeah, we're still doing Percy Jackson reactions. How many more episodes do we have?
I don't want to know.
I think 3. I think. Yeah, 3 more
Wait,
episodes.
we have 3 more episodes?
Yeah.
No. Like, including the one for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I don't like that.
Yeah. So yeah, check all that out. Hope y'all enjoyed. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.